Hello everyone, this is Plankara, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So, yesterday, I think I got most of the hair done. I just was having some trouble with some stuff up in kind of this upper right area, and figured that I should take a look at it today, so I will be doing that, of course. But besides that, I think I want to fix something in this eyelid as well. Just stare at that just a little bit longer. But when I look at it up here, this line here is very, very straight. It goes like straight across, and then it just gets thicker because it has a little spot that goes down too. Whereas here I have the entire thing kind of going down. So that tells me that I want to raise part of it. So I'll just gently push this up and make it just a little bit flatter on top there. Alright, let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, I think that's much better. Okay, cool. So that was quick and painless, and now let's go copy it over to the other side. Alright. Back to hair. That was the only thing on her face that I wanted to fix up. The rest, all hair. So we're back to all hair all the time. But I think everything's actually looking pretty alright. Yeah, not bad. I think I still have a few more things to fix up than I thought I did. Like, I'm seeing that this dark area right here and this highlight not quite lining up the way I wanted to, and various small things like that. But I do think I got, like, pretty much all the big ones. So today, we're just going to be looking at smaller things. But first I really want to dig in to the right side, because if there was something there that didn't seem quite right, and I was having trouble identifying that yesterday, that tells me that's something to do with a fresh brain, rather than one that has been rigging for an hour. Okay, so I think before I can do that, I have to start lining up some of these. The downward turn and the right turn, that is. Let me make sure I'm confident in my placement on some of these other things. The biggest area that I see squirming is this highlight right here, which admittedly I did have to move quite a lot. But no, I think I like its location on the diagonal. Yes, I definitely do. So that means that lots of things have to move on this right head turn. So let's see here. The biggest thing that I think has to move on the right head turn is that I need to kind of floof all this out a little bit more. Let it just stick out like this. Hello there, Ton Guy. How are you doing today? Just going through and fixing up some more hair here. That's kind of the story of my life with this model so far. Her hair is lovely, but man, is there just so much of it. So it takes a while to get through it all. And over here, I think I want to bring this little bit of hair out just a little bit more. Like right over here. It's nice to have days like that sometimes. Gotta have a break occasionally. Gonna shape the back part of her hair here. See how all that works out. I'm not overly concerned with getting everything clean right now, but I kind of want to make sure that everything has the right angles. But that's alright, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you have a good afternoon too. Enjoy your rest day. Bye-bye. All right. So first I'm going to go ahead and start with lining everything up with the right head turn, because I do always find it a little bit harder to tilt the head down than I do to tilt it a direction. So I will just start with that. And I can see that there's some issues on the right head turn, and then there's some on the lower right. Tends to be how it goes. I tend to have to fix things up from both directions. But I feel like it's coming together pretty well. Kind of looks like we're seeing a little bit more of the top of her head here, which is the goal in the end. Because after all, when you look down, when someone looks down, you do indeed see more of the top of their head. So it all makes sense. Still feeling a little bit groggy right now. I ended up falling asleep on the couch again. Happens occasionally. It was really, really cold last night, so I had to get up and find another blanket. Probably made me sleep not quite as soundly as I would have otherwise. I'm always surprised by how cold it can get in the winter. Especially in a fairly dry place like this, because I know that places with lots of humidity tend to retain their daylight heat better. But when you go out into, like, a desert, then things can get real cold real fast. Because suddenly the sun is not there to heat things up anymore. I wouldn't call where I live a desert, but it is very dry, so it has some similar features. Dryness and snakes. Yes. Okay, so I see that the next big thing that I'm going to have to fix up is this area on the side bank. Because when I go between these two areas, it doesn't quite check out here. So right now I'm determining which of these looks better, and I do think that the right looks better than the lower right. So I'll be adjusting the lower right based on that somewhat. Always feels weird to have this bit of hair go onto her eyelid, so I'll see if I can avoid some of that. But, this is the angle where it looked the best, so I'm just kind of rolling with it. So I'm kind of hoping that I can kind of shove it underneath this strand a little bit more as I line it up with the right head turn. And hopefully that'll make things look a little bit better. Yeah, I think I might be able to get away with such things. I'm happy, because I don't like it when I have to, like, shove the roots of her hair into her eyes. That just seems incredibly rude, don't you know? I would hate for where my hair connects to my forehead to suddenly be in my eyes. So I'll be messing around at that angle and trying to find a good one. Alright, I think that's doing a little bit better now. Oh, and by the way, if you guys ever have any recommendations for comics, any particular genre, any particular, I guess, origin, whether that be, you know, Western comics, manga, more web-published stuff, you know, the manhwa that's common in Korea and that kind of thing. Any kind is totally fine by me. I'm always looking for recommendations for more stuff to read. I have been very much into reading them lately. It's been very educational for some stuff I want to do with my own art. So I've been having a good time reading them. And besides, stories and pictures accompanying them is always fun. I have enjoyed comics for pretty much ever. Sometimes it can take me a while to go through them, but I've noticed that I've almost caught up with Kubera, so I'll probably be looking for another one soon. Wasn't sure if I'd ever catch up with Kubera. Like I said, as much as I do like it, it is a little bit slow sometimes. And there are points where I can just feel the author going, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. But it's just not super relevant to the story. But I am glad that they are very enthusiastic about their work. I can feel the love. Alright, yes, looking much better there. So now I'm going to adjust kind of this inner shadow area here. It's gotten all scrunched up and out of sorts. I also want to get kind of the shadow shape that goes on the underside of that side bang there. My goodness, this is all tangled up. Okay. Gonna have to pull some stuff around here. Figure out what's going on. I think it's probably something like this. Yeah. There we go. Let's get all these triangles back into place and figure out where they belong. There we go. Now I feel like it's kind of come together. How exactly does this go? Man, what the heck was I thinking when I meshed this? This one's another one that's kind of a mess. That's okay. I can work with it. Your mesh has to be pretty bad to make me want to redo it. Because meshing is just so dull. Okay, that's good enough for a rough pass that I'm doing right now. So let's go ahead and start getting this all lined up again. Most of this side of that little spot underneath the bangs is going to be hidden, so I'll just leave them over there. And I'll see if it all lines up. Maybe. I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I think it's going up a little bit too much. So let's pull this one down. Okay, there we go. Now, squiggliness aside, I think all of that is looking pretty okay. Yeah. It's okay, things are going to be pretty squiggly for a while. At some point I'll want to go back and clean everything up, but I want to get everything into the right place first. I do think not doing that earlier in some of the other head turns ended up costing me a lot of time and made everything take much longer than it should have. Alright, now I'm looking at the front bang, kind of this area right over here. I'm gonna see which head angle does it better, the lower right or the right, because they don't line up. It's kind of hard to say, honestly. I think it's the lower right by a very narrow margin there. So let's go ahead and make that look a little bit nicer. Rather the lower right that needs to change. Starting to line things up with the bottom head turn as well. Still mostly focusing on the right turn, but in this particular case, using the bottom head turn helped me figure out where things should go, so I guess I'll do a little bit to line things up with the bottom head turn here. Alright, that should be fine once I clean it all up. Alright, and then weird crunchiness aside, I think this is looking pretty good. So I'm just lining up everything with the other head turns as a way to help me find out the areas that are not working for me. Because there was something about this turn that was not quite working, but I couldn't quite identify what it was. But now that things are lining up a little bit better with the right head turn, I think it is actually looking a little bit better. So I think I might have found the whatever problem I was having. Which is always nice. You know, sometimes things just work out, and that is indeed always nice. Sometimes you just gotta move in a slightly better direction. That was one of those cases where it didn't necessarily work out by magic, but because I was trying stuff. Saying like, okay, if that particular method wasn't working out, let's try this other method. Maybe it'll work out. Yeah. In this case it did. So, very nice indeed. Okay, so now there's this little kind of weird pink line coming through here that's not lining up, and also this black area that goes onto the other side bang. This little guy right here, he's getting a bit big. If anything, when it's going down, it should be a little bit smaller. But it's just growing uncontrollably. So I gotta rein that in quite a bit here. And it's fine if there's some white areas. Like here, you can see kind of peeking through her skin. It's okay if there's a few of those for me to fill in later. Because I can do that. What's important now is that everything is in roughly the right place. Okay. I think I will fill in that little hole right now, though, because otherwise it will bother me. And I just don't want to deal with that. Alright, that is already a lot better. Not that one, this one. Or, yes, this one. Because, yes, I was wanting to fix up this black area first. And then I'll go back up to the right-hand turn to fix that little pink part sticking out. There we go. Okay, I think that actually looks all right. We're just gonna let her nod for a little bit while I stare at this. Try to work out the last couple of little spots that I am not entirely happy with. Okay, I think it's still some more on that little black part there. So we'll go ahead and make it even just a little bit smaller. Just pull that on in. Okay, maybe that was a little bit too much. Okay, I think that's good now. And you can see once again I'm comparing it more on the diagonal again to the center. Because at this point I am wanting to compare it to where nothing at all has been moved or deformed. And that is the center. That is the default. I always like to do that first. Just make sure everything can move like that as it should. And you can see that now that I have fixed this dark area, that where this strand is connecting, it's connecting in the wrong place now. So I'm trying to kind of push him in the right direction here. Alright, that is much better. Let's just touch up the last little bit here. Should connect a little further back there. And then I want to make this just a little bit rounder here. Floof it up just a little bit more. There we go. Let's see how that looks now. Oh yeah, I think I got something here. Okay, cool. Now I see that that same area on the right head turn is also not connecting in the right place. So I should go fix that one too. There we go. Just kind of let it come out of, like it's following that little black part. And you can see that here it connects just to the very edge of the side bang here. There's like this line that comes up through here, and that's where it connects. So I try to make it connect in the same spot here. Didn't quite get it. But that's okay. I'll just try again. And yeah, I think things are connecting much more nicely now. Alright, now the spot that I'm looking at is on the side bang here. I think it's shifting more than a little bit. So I want to take a look at that. I actually don't mind the way the highlight's moving right now. That might be a little bit too much movement, but I don't think it's that bad. So I'm more focused on kind of the spot right up here. So let's see, who did it better? Alright, this tells me that there's at least a little bit of shenanigans in the lower right turn, so I will start there. Okay, and I might need to clean up the front bang just a little bit, so that this way I don't have a bunch of messy stuff bothering me. It's not cleaning time yet. But I do want to clean things just enough that they don't bother me. So that this way I can see how things need to move around. I think I still need to clean the top of the front bang here, so let's just get this into the point where I want it to be. Because there's a part of the side bang that needs to kind of be tucked underneath this, and I can't do that while it's this messy. So I guess we'll do a little bit of front bang cleaning and go from there. So now I'm trying to get all those lines kind of on the outer edge looking nice and smooth. That is good enough for now. Let's go see that diagonal. Yes, and the other day they posted the teaser for the new Path to Nowhere event, and I don't recall if I properly commented on it. Looks like we're getting a bunch of stuff out in the Outlands, which I think is kind of cool. I'm kind of curious about that part of the setting. And I think Dove is super cute. I like her outfit. It's very kind of simple and elegant thing, and I've always liked the way clothes like that look. I actually just crafted a dress that looks kind of like that in Infinity Nikki the other day. So maybe I'll take some pictures with it. And it also reminds me that I got a gray coat in Infinity Nikki the other day, so maybe I should do some Path to Nowhere cosplay in that game. I probably could at this point. Wardrobe's not super big yet, but I think I've got a few that I can do. Might be kind of fun. I haven't had too much character design energy in me lately. So I haven't wanted to do that much dress up and take picture shenanigans lately. But I'm sure that energy will come back eventually. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Path to Nowhere event, and I'll be curious to see what they do with it. I'll be sure to read it and share my thoughts when the time comes. That's one thing that's always funny about creative impulses, is that a lot of the time they do just kind of come and go. And for a while I was super into just making stuff and taking pictures in Infinity Nikki, and been wanting to design characters and work on that, and right now I'm just like, I want to do other stuff now. So that's what I'm doing. I have actually started writing the first draft for the comic idea I've had in my head for a while. So I guess I can talk about that a little bit more often. Just gonna be kind of a, I'm not sure if I could call it silly, but definitely a bit campy. I do enjoy campy fantasy, so that's kind of what I'm going for there, but I do hope for things to get real at some point. And kind of, play with expectations and, fantasy tropes and that kind of thing. I've only written, like, the very first scene, and even then it's... I get the feeling that's gonna go through some revisions and all that stuff, but... I've been having a good time. The main character, her name is Leora, and she's a derp. So, I enjoy writing me some derps occasionally, so I'm kind of looking forward to doing more. So that's kind of where my brain has been right now. But yes, she's a derp, but she's a heroic derp who wants to help. And she does her best. I'd been thinking about art style for all of that too, and given it's kind of meant to be an upbeat fantasy, I want to go for something that you might see in art depicting legends. I'm not quite sure how else to describe it, but a vaguely medieval feeling. Lots of sharp lines and silhouettes. Infinity Nikki had a little bit of the style that I was talking about when they were going over their legend at the end of the main story there. So that's kind of the art style that I'm talking about, if you've seen that, but let me see. Other games that have used it. I think Genshin has used a similar style with whenever they go into their legends. I can't recall Path to Nowhere ever quite using it. Their minimalist style that they bring in sometimes where, you know, like during the credits of some events and during, what is it? The Elysialand saga, where it was lighting up, where you had that extra screen that occasionally showed some of the other sinners showing up in it. It kind of looks like cardboard cutouts. That's a similar idea, but not entirely correct. So something almost kind of like stained glass, I suppose. I still need to do a lot of messing around with that before I fully settle on it, but that's kind of what's in my head right now. I'm never sure how to describe art styles without pictures. So that's kind of what's been on my mind lately, and probably why I haven't been super interested in taking pictures in Infinity Nikki lately. Because my brain's got other stuff it's thinking about. That kind of occupies the same niche in my head. This is incidentally also why I've been very interested in reading comics lately. I have been enjoying seeing what they do with the format. Everybody does something a little bit differently. And I like seeing what other people do. Some ideas have been pretty creative. I remember a little while ago, I read a comic called Lady Night. I ended up not really caring for the story that much, so I didn't end up reading too far, but I did enjoy the art in it. So I was a little bit sad when I just could not get into the story. But the art was very cool. So I like seeing something a little bit different from the... I don't know how to describe it. The typical manhwa look. The look that's popular in Korea right now. I think there's a lot that can be done with art styles. I think some people can go in just kind of drawing what they can, and I think that is a fabulous way to start. If you're not confident in your drawing skills, creating something is still better than creating nothing. But I think sometimes even the art itself, stylistically, can create its own feeling. So I've been wanting to play with that idea and make the art in mine look like something out of Legends. That is my hope. Okay, yeah, I think that diagonal is looking pretty good now. So let's go back to lining things up here. I think I want the highlights right over here to be a little bit longer. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks a little bit better. Yes, much. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna go look at the diagonal again, except now I'm gonna look on this side of her head. Make sure that everything is lined up over there the way I want it to be. So I remember not being wholly convinced on the location of that little shadow. And indeed, I'm still thinking it needs to be a little bit higher up. That shouldn't be that hard to fix at all. Just need to move these little vertices over here just a tad. I don't think I even need to move it that far. Is that sufficient? That is perfect. See, didn't need to move it much at all. Kind of the same with this guy right here, the little highlight. So I'll go ahead and slide those vertices up a little bit too. Alright, that is much better. Okay, so let's see how things are lining up over here, and actually, so far so good over there. Let's take a look here. I remember yesterday I spent quite a bit of time getting things to line up correctly in this area. And I think this still looks great down the diagonal. So let's line it on up with the right head turn there. Another case of I'm seeing which angle is doing it better. And I do think it is the lower right. So I will be lining up everything that's going on the right head turn with the lower right. And that means a few angles go a little bit steeper downward. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I see in the lower right here, now that I look a little bit more closely, that I do feel like the bottom of this purple part right here was like getting stuck. Everything around it was moving a little bit more than it was, so it just looked like it was getting caught on something, and well, that's just a bit silly. But now it's much better. All right. I think that's a lot better. Just want to kind of Just a couple of things here and there with these little shadows right here. Some of them I can already see that I kind of have to push down. It's supposed to run into the edge of this strand going over her shoulder here. So I need to make sure that it is covering up everything that it needs to. Let's just go ahead and do that now. Alright, and then I'll go ahead and line up everything else. I see that this little guy is sticking up where he shouldn't be. There we go. And I'm definitely gonna have to pull some shenanigans with some stuff over here, but I will worry about those shenanigans in a little bit. Let me see, what even strand is that? Oh, is that you? Okay, well that's easy to fix. I just slide that down real quick. There we go. Some of those strands can just go and hide. It'll be fine. Okay. And if they need to move around afterwards, I will deal with that then. This is fine for now. Sometimes it can be okay to offload work onto your future self. It'll work out just fine. Alright, let's just get these various little adjustments in. My throat is surprisingly sore today. I think it's because I fell asleep on the couch. Sometimes when I do that, my throat just completely dries out. It happens while I sleep too. Just normally in bed. But I can generally fix that with a little bit of water in the morning. But I guess I didn't get quite enough after falling asleep on the couch. Reminder to stay hydrated, everyone. It's this way your throat doesn't dry out when you're trying to talk. Sometimes I forget how many little patterns are in her hair there. Just all the little strands and clumps and all the little things I have to pay attention to. There's a lot of it. Lots of colors there, and I think this time all the different colors are a little bit more visible than they've been when I talk about all the little colors in certain areas of hair. Yeah, this time I think that they're highly visible. See, it wasn't so bad in the other head angle on the left side, because on the left side, this clump of hair gets almost entirely hidden. It's like, just go, and I barely have to care. But here, oh yeah, it's out there. It's out there, all right. And I want to make sure that it looks very pretty. Shalom's hair is just very, very pretty indeed, and I like to do everything I can to keep it that way. Alright, I think that looks okay. Let's go ahead and pull the very end of it here. Oh, not you. You. There we go. Down here. Make sure it gets hidden behind the strand that it's supposed to go behind. And that all is well. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty okay. Let's just go ahead and adjust this dark area. Right here. And actually, now that I look at it, this on the right head turn is not pulled down all the way where it needs to be. Let's get him on down there. There we go. There we go. Now just casually going back and hiding behind the strand that he needs to be hiding behind. It looks much better. Alright, I'm gonna call this lined up with the right side. So next time, I'm just gonna make sure that everything is lined up with the bottom. Bottom's not looking too bad, but I see a couple of things that I need to fix up already. But yes, I do think things are nicely lined up here. So my next goal is to make sure that I can just slide everything all the way across the bottom here. And it all looks fine. I'd say maybe 60 or 70% of the way there already. We can just let her shake her head and be disapproving about something. But I think this is where I will stop for today. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.